so you move to the States, you know, you're continuing with the entrepreneurial spirit at this point. Take me through, you know, your high school years, you know, what comes after. How do you end up, you know, getting into, you know, this industry? How does financial services kind of find its way to you?
You know, throughout high school, I played sports, right?
Okay.
I was an athlete. And despite even playing football, track, and wrestling, I still work a job. I was working. I would leave from practice at 5, get to work at 6, get off at 10. And by the time I get home, it's like 11. And I do that every day. I worked every day.
And you're in high school at this point?
I'm in high school.
Wow.
So I always wanted things, and I had to help my mom at the time. Because at this time, you know, my mom was trying to get into like different industries and stuff like that. So when my sister left at the time, you know, that income left. So I picked up the tab and I started helping her. And I said, you know, Ma, all I need is like $50 from my check, you know, just so I could have some pocket money. And I work, make sure my mom had my check, and I go out and go play sports. You know, my mom worked 3 jobs, man. I watched that lady gave up everything in Jamaica to get us over here and started from ground zero. So I just wanted to help her no matter what. So all throughout high school, a lot of people didn't know that's how my setup was. So I was working, playing sports, and making sure that mom get a check. And then my mom started saving up, and she got to a point where she could buy our first house. And she bought it, flipped it, made some money, bought some more houses, and then we became landlords in Connecticut. My mom had multiple houses in Connecticut, right? We had 2 houses in Jersey. We lived in a 3-family house, and my sister came back, and we all living together. And then 2008, 2009, the real estate market crashed. And I watched the tenants went from being able to pay their rent to can't pay their rent, and we can't get them out the house. And because my mom didn't learn something called a short sell. That's simple little knowledge right there about a short sell, where you could break even or you could come out, but at least you don't lose what you already gained. And I watched that houses suck my mother dry, man, and destroyed one of the greatest entrepreneurs I ever know.
Wow.
So that killed her spirit. And not only killed her spirit, it killed our generational wealth, because we lost everything, including the very house we lived in. So at the end of my senior year, we were moving out of the house that I thought would forever be ours. So it set our family back. So me getting into the financial space was accident, because fast forward, you know, I went down a stage where I did the music for a while. I was a recording artist. I had artists and all that stuff. And we were trying to chase this road and going down that lane. And I just didn't like the life that it would have bring. So I decided to step away because I became a father. And I said, I remember, you know, one of my elders, they come up to me and they say, the life that you're living right now, is that your life that you want for your son? And I said, nah, my son will never live this life. He's like, you could say that now, but he's watching everything you do. So the life that you live is the life that he's going to think is for him. And I switched up and I went and got 3 jobs. I started working 3 jobs. I worked from 3:45 in the morning to 11:30 at night. And I was doing that for like 5 years at a time. And this opportunity to get in the industry, it came at a time where I gained full custody of my son. He was 1.5 years old. I became a single parent. And here I am, lost my apartment at the time, and I had to move in with my aunt. I never forget it. My cousin called. It was a Wednesday night. And he asked me, he's like, hey, are you open to learning more about finance? And I was like, yeah. But I was like, wait, how much is it going to cost me? And he was like, nothing, man, it's free. I was like, yeah, right. What's the catch? Because I did the old Amway thing before, right? Selling the juice and all that stuff. I did that before when I was like 18. Sold the dream. I'm going to be a millionaire. Didn't happen. But I love the juice, right? Love the juice.
Good energy drinks. Good energy drinks.
I messed with it, right? But I'm like, yo, is this like Amway? He's like, I was like, dude, just give it to me straight. He's like, you know what, man? You want me to tell you how much you got to pay? You just got to pay attention. That's all you got to pay. Pay attention. Right? And I was like, all right, man, I'm coming down. But I'm telling you, the minute they talk about spending any money, I'm getting up. And I came down and I checked it out. And let me tell you something, bro. I fell in love. I fell in love with the movement. I fell in love with being in the financial industry. I remember the one thing that he said is that once you're a license, and I know anything pertaining to a license, especially a state license, it's legit. I wasn't sure what the company was about, but I know it was legit that moment. The minute they said license is required, background check, I don't know what it is you're really doing yet, but I understand it has a license to do what you do.
Right, right.
And that's how I got in the industry. And within 2 years, I was able to get rid of all of my jobs. And I started my journey to be full-time. So I always tell people that, I know people when they hear that, they must say, man, Keyon, you've been in the industry since 2012. You must be a millionaire, right? I said, no, I'm not a millionaire. But here's one thing I can tell you. Every financial obstacles that have come my way, I know how to overcome every last one of them confidently.
That's right.
And that's what financial literacy is. Because time would make me wealthy. But what do you do when the obstacles come? That sets you back. Me? No. It's a learning moment.
That's right.
And I overcome it.
It's that mindset, man. I love your mindset and the way that, you approach, different situations in life, because, even in seeing, what happened with your mother, you guys built up. I mean, it sounds like she did it twice. She built it up in Jamaica, then came to the States, built again.
Right. And
then you saw her reset both of those times. The second time, it sounds like she was like, look, I'm done at this point.
Right.
You could have very well been like, yeah, you're right. No need for me to continue with my entrepreneurial spirit or that same mindset. But you said, no, I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to take a step, go out on faith. Even when your cousin called, it's like, you could have said, man, you know what? I'm good. We got this stuff going on my mom. I'm just going to I got to keep working. I ain't got time. Boom, click.
Right.
But you're like, no, I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. And then you stepped out and you took that chance. And I like the fact that you mentioned it helped you get to a point where, because one, and I'm gonna come back and touch on this, the fact that you say, hey, well, no, I've been in the industry 10 years. I'm not a millionaire now. That's something I want to address, because we live in this instant gratification world, right? But what you spoke to was, if something were to happen, if an obstacle comes up, a situation comes up, I'm prepared because I have the knowledge and information to navigate certain circumstances. So there's two things that I'd like you to kind of expound on. One, the fact that, yes, we know that this is the highest paid industry in the country. We know that it's irrefutable. It's statistically proven. We know this. It's the industry where most millionaires are made. However, in this social media world that we live in, things look like they happen quickly without the process that it actually takes in order to establish, the large degree of success. So I'd like you to kind of speak to, what does it look like to build this career over the course of a decade? I've been in the industry. We've been in the industry about the same amount of time. So I feel you, man. It's like, yeah, hey, I've accomplished some things, but I'm still on the journey, So if you could actually just kind of touch on that one. What's it like to, hey, go year after year after year, but still continuing to build, and the fact that it is a process, just speaking to the fact that it is a process. And then two, what does it mean to have that mindset to be able to navigate when certain things come up that others who don't have this experience may not be able to do?
Right. The one thing I want every entrepreneur, and I'm so, when I say I'm so blessed and I'm so thankful that I was able to have some of the greatest mentors to speak into me, because that's important, to have the right mentorship. I remember a guy, I will always give him his credit. We used to call him Papa Cap, Greg Cap. I remember Greg Cap said, There's 3 stages to becoming successful. And you have to know your stages. It's like a marriage. It said in the first year, you're learning. It's the most confusing year of your life in business, but it's your learning stage. In the 5th year, by the first year and after the years after that, it's the implementation. You're implementing what you've learned until you find your own rhythm. And it said by the 10th year, your business will be on autopilot, where it just happens naturally without even effort. That's where I'm at now. Because now I look at my business compared to me 10 years ago, just this month, well, last month, because we're now in what, October?
October, yep.
In September, we submitted over $62,000 in business in 1 month, right? So someone would say, whoa, 10 years for that? No, it's not 10 years for that. It's the reward of never giving up on your dreams, because life's going to test you, try you, and punch you down. People are going to doubt you, criticize you, and try to condemn you. But you have to believe in your journey, because it's not where you are, it's where you're going. And sometimes you don't explain to people where you're going. You just got to know where you're going. Keep your eyes on your prize and stop worrying about what other people are doing. I just keep my eyes on my prize, even when it confuses the people around me, even when it confuses the people that love me, even when it confuses the people that doubt me, or they feel it confirmed that I will be a failure. But look at me now. And I just sit back and just be thankful. I don't even have to brag about it, because over the years, I've learned through my failures that in your failing years, it's your learning years.
Right. And
your success is the result of never giving up through your failures.
Absolutely, man. I love that. I love that. You know, I remember a mentor told me, you know, early in my career, he said, the people who end up being the most successful in this business, they aren't necessarily the people that come out and hit the home runs right out of the gate.
Right.
They're the people that can outlast everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's almost like the story of Bruce Lee. They said, I'm not afraid of a man that know 1,000 kicks. I'm afraid of a man who will kick you 1,000 times in the one kick.
There you go.
That's me. I'm the guy that could kick you 1,000 times in one kick.
That's it. That's it, man. No, I love